Hello, Tom, aka Gerion, your host for Star Frontiers Gamer. And we've been doing a little series of player character tutorials on creating a character. Today we're going to talk about creating a spacer character. And the rules expansion for the game was called Nighthawks. And the player character prerequisites to be a spacer were a rude awakening when we bought this, because you had Alpha Dawn, you start out your character with two first level skills, and it took a few adventures, going on a few adventures in a campaign to be able to advance one of those to the next level. So when we got to spacer skills, was a little bit of the rude awakening. And right here, you have a foundation skill table. To be a pilot, take pilot skill, you had to be a technician level 6 and computers level 2. Astrogation level 6. This is the highest skill level. Technician, engineering, technician 4, robotics 2. That's not quite so bad. Rocket weapons, projectile level 4, gyrojets level 2. Now, what about being able to shoot a pistol with bullets makes you qualified to fire off rockets off of a ship? I don't know. Now, gyrojet weapons I get. Gyrojet weapons I absolutely get, because since they're miniature rockets, I see where you're going with that. I don't know. I never got this. And then energy weapons, you had to be beam weapons level 6. And wow, steep hill to climb. The bundled module that came with Nighthawks was Warriors of White Light. You basically join a space militia. It's not the regular Navy that's frontier-wide space fleet. It's the local militia for one system there, and was the Royal Marines of Clarion that you were joining. And the module just specified, all right, look, have the players pick a first level spacer skill, and they get all of the prerequisites for it. So it's a very, very monolithic kind of character. He had, as a pilot, you had technician and computer and piloting skills, and you kind of stunk at shooting a gun. The problem with these prerequisites and just saying we're going to hand wave all of the character development prior to spacer skills. We're going to start the characters at first level spacers. So you get your first level spacer skill and all the prerequisites. That character is a one-hit wonder in his prerequisite skills. He's level 6 at shooting a laser pistol. He's not going to miss anything. The pilot, the guy who's the pilot, he's lucky if he doesn't shoot himself in the foot drawing his laser pistol, because he has no skill in it. He's testing on one half his ability score. That's it. He's a waste of ammunition in the game. And so on one, it makes some characters to be totally ineffectual. Like, well, let's just wait for the beam weapon gunner to show up so he can shoot these guys, or we'll send the beam weapon gunner in first and we'll come in behind him so he can do the shooting. Or it just seemed unnatural to me. And the other side effect of these really high level prerequisites is these characters are one-hit wonders in their area. It advances this idea of power creep. This gaming concept of power creep, where the characters become so powerful that it's hard to challenge them. So you have all of these, now, yeah, the first level pilot, he can be challenged with shooting, but he's not challenged with technician work. So there's somebody in the party with the right skill. It's hard to throw challenges at them. The only exception would be that amongst these prerequisites, you don't have medical skill. If you were going to have a ship's doctor, it would make sense that you say, all right, his prerequisite to be ship's doctor is he has medical skill level 6. He doesn't have a spacer skill, but he's medical skill level 6. Where's he got to go for character development if he's the ship's doctor? He's going to take a bunch of other low-level skills as he earns experience points, but I don't know. Or if you're going to have a ship's counselor, they're going to be level 6 in psychosocial, right? Or science officer, he'd be level 6 in environmental skill. I just see that it's the one-hit wonders. You have a lack of area for the character to grow in their chosen field. They're going to grow in other fields, but to me, it's just problematic. So I do not like these the Nighthawk's prerequisites. One along came a fan magazine, and one fan submitted an alternative rule system here in Star Frontiersman number 10. Now, all you need to do to track this down is Google Star Frontiersman magazines, and you'll find the link. And you want to find issue number 10 and spacer skills down around page 13 in this PDF. Here we are. Let's blow it up a little bit. So looking over here, you see it's a progressive prerequisite table. Rather than have you had to earn all of that prerequisite skill up to level 6 in most cases, it was a progressive prerequisite. To gain first one, level 1 piloting, you had to be level 2 technician, level 2 computers. Much more open and light. And then right down, you just, whatever it was. So it wasn't so steep, but it was progressive. So to advance to level 2, you had to do some increasing of your prerequisites all the way to level 6. This was a much more workable system, in my opinion, because what do players want? Players really, a lot of new players come to this game with a concept of, I'm going to play Han Solo, I'm going to play Luke Skywalker. So they don't want to be told you're going to have to go through about 4 or 5 campaigns just walking around and driving pickup trucks before you ever get to the point that we're going to let you in a starship and drive a starship. They don't want to be told that. That's not their concept of fun. That's not. So the rule of cool dictates that we do what's cool. Now, I don't always advocate the rule of cool for everything, but look, players want to fly the spaceship, so let's have it early. And this fan rule option facilitated that. So I immediately jumped on this. This is where we're going. Also, in part because I never liked the 2 first level skills at character creation. I much prefer to do 2 first level skills and 1 second level skill. Let the character have something that they're kind of good at. And so if you play your skill choices right at character creation in my game, you could start with a spacer skill. So if you wanted to be a star pilot, you'd start with first level pilot, second level technician, and first level computer. You just have to make those choices. If you chose to be an astrogator, first level astrogator, second level computers, you got a free first level skill, anyone you could pick now. So that was generally my house rule for my house games, was 2 first level skills, 1 second level skill. And it worked well with this set of prerequisites. Now, I don't really like the progressive prerequisites. The other option that I have gone with, again, this is my house rule, that I recommend, is you must pay the prerequisite to get the first level spacer skill. After that, prerequisites don't matter. You can just advance your space or skill. I feel like requiring these prerequisites that go to level 6 are just obnoxious. It's a steep hill to climb. It just slows it down. If you want your character to advance, just let him advance in the space or skill, and that's that. So that is how I handle prerequisites in my game. A couple of options for you. You can go with raw, the rules as written, and stick with these really steep hill to climb prerequisites. You can go with the Spacer Skills Revisited, which is a progressive prerequisite. I only require the first level prerequisites of Skilled Frontier. Other people just forget the prerequisites altogether. And there's a case to be made for that. Now, with Star Frontiers being a World War II-esque type of game, I'm mindful of the fact, as an amateur wannabe historian, that during World War II, the United States of America took 18-year-old farm boys off the wheat farm cornfields of Iowa and trained them in a short period of time and put them on battleships. And these guys were operating the guns from battleships. They were piloting a battleship under the command of officers. They were doing these types of actions, maybe not the navigation, but they were doing these kinds of actions with very short training periods. So I'm also mindful of the reality of the real world, what went on during World War II. And it was certainly the 18-year-old farm boy pulled from the farms of Iowa, now operating the guns of a battleship. He was not some crack shot necessarily with a rifle before he got that training. So there's a case to be made to not even have the prerequisites, but I do like them. I do like them. Like if you were to add bionics or cybernetics to your game, it would be an advanced medical school for me, a skill. You would have to have some prerequisites. You'd have to have medical skill and robotics. At least one level of robotics, and then you as the medic guy could then take the cybernetic skill and perform cybernetic, adding cybernetics or adding bionics. Principally, the robotics and the bionics, I sense, go together more. And maybe cybernetics is more computers and medical skill. But something along those lines, that there should be some advanced skills where you got to check a few boxes and then you can take it. I just feel that that's the way to go. That's my gut feeling. So, but I'm mindful of the idea that the case could be made from historical real world precedent. You don't need prerequisites. So those are your options. So this is Tom, aka Gedeon, for Star Frontiers Gamer. There's 4 different ways you can handle the prerequisites for the spacer skills. I think all of them are valid. And, in part, I would say that because one of the things that Gygax is famous for saying is the most important rule is there are no rules. If a rule doesn't work, you change it. And that's how old school gamers always, we just modified stuff and house ruled it. So I would say that all of these house rules I've suggested that are possible are very valid for this game. You don't have to stick with the rules as written for Nighthawks. I find them problematic myself. I do not like the flavor of a game that they create. So I recommend going with one of the house rule options, one of the fan options. And you make the decision that you want for your game. See you in the frontier.